as this becomes the new corporate press, it is getting worse. And I mean, I think the reality is we're not long for this world. You know, everyone's like, you know, I see the comments like, wow, Tim, you really pulled this thing together. And I'm like, yeah, but there will come a time. The cliffs are eroding, and over time, they are homogenizing what YouTube is, and they want it to be that mainstream narrative.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, but they know
eventually the sand dumps in the sea. But let me just say this one thing, because I don't bullshit when it comes to things like this. Tim was a turning point for Joe, and I'm not going to get into our private phone calls and things, because Joe wanted to believe in the system and wanted to believe there were good guys and bad guys. And when he remember him, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but he called him. He goes, "You see what I did with Tim Poulton?" I said, "Yeah, I heard about it. Thank you." I'm under attack. He goes, "Well, it's true." Joe already had all that understanding, but as soon as, so it's true, Tim, that like you're like the vampire that bit Joe Rogan and woke him up. No. I'm not just kissing your ass. That was the point. I told you that privately. That was the point.
But Tim, that Jack Dorsey moment was a corner shed moment that shattered the reality of a lot of people's understanding of how things work online. And you were there. You didn't fall for their traps. You went around their traps.
That was like
slapped them upside their head, and then they were like, they didn't know what they were doing. So again, another thing.
Toto and the curtain.
Yeah, and something else to add here. You're saying we're not long for this world. We're long for a very long time. They can't pull the rug, because if they do, they lose everything. They're slowly pulling the rug. They hit Alex, but Alex is still here. Alex is still producing his videos. Alex is getting a crap ton of viewership. We'll survive no matter what.
And we've got timcast.com.
Yeah.
That's right.
Where you should sign up, become a member for our special members only segments, because I realized this a long time ago, but didn't really have the skills, the experience. But the beginning of this year, I was like, if we don't have our own website, we could get plucked right out and thrown in the trash.
Exactly.
But not anymore.
Yep.
But there's also one factor. One thing. There's one factor you guys both missed, which is there's a big difference when you watch the news and you see that they're lying about you personally.
Yeah.
If Joe had his podcast, him broing out, talking to fighters, talking to comedians, just hanging out. You turn, hold on, Al, and you've experienced this for a long time. You turn the news, and it's something that you have personal knowledge about, and you see people you've never met explicitly lying about you, and lies that are easily verified to be lies. That's when you realize, wait a minute, something is up, and it's happened to you as well, obviously.
You know, Tim, I rewatched that the other day, recently, you know, and what I found interesting was how the point you made, how they kept saying, we do this to protect people because if there's a threat to somebody's life through social media, we take action on it, right? And the reason why I thought that was interesting is because, like, even as of recently, after I testified in the trial, I started getting death threats on Instagram, on Twitter, all of this stuff. And what was crazy on Instagram was I actually took a screenshot.
They don't care.
Of someone issuing me a death threat. I posted it. And my account took the hit.
That happened.
But this is the point I made to them.
If it was me.
What about Kelly Paul? Rand Paul's wife always complains to Twitter because he gets like, I'm glad the neighbor did this. It should happen again. She's like, Jack, do something. And he's like, I don't care.
There are Twitter accounts called I'm Rand Paul's neighbor.
Wow.
So one of the points that I brought up to Jack and Vijay on that show was they said, you know, we're trying to protect people. There's high suicide rates. And I said, what about people with like body dysmorphia where they cut their hands off? You know, these people exist. Are you going to create special rules for these groups? I think the fascinating thing about that moment, and it comes up a lot, I guess, because for me, it was just a moment I was there and I was having a typical argument I would normally have with anybody. But I guess a lot of people didn't realize this stuff. They didn't realize, Vijaya and Jack didn't realize when they were entering this, they thought they were going to be getting your run-of-the-mill conservative who's going to be like, why'd you ban Milo? Why'd you ban Alex? Instead of more like philosophical and like liberty-minded questions and like fairness and
they bled out. They bled out on to 10 million viewers. They bled out.
It was that, and then the Sanjay Gupta thing, I think, woke a lot of people up.
That was big.
The thing with Joe. Because it was one of the very few, maybe even the only instance where you have someone who's on CNN every day lying, and you have someone actually confronting them to their face, and then you go back to watch CNN afterwards, and they completely edit out that interaction. They completely frame it as him somehow convincing Joe Rogan to be pro-vaccine.